What's going on, everybody? So today we're back with a new video on the crypto markets in general, and I'm gonna kind of dive a little deeper into Bitcoin, and I'm gonna do a trading view video, just kind of give you guys my thoughts on a few possibilities that I think could happen. So yesterday we were sitting at like 480 billion in the market cap, so we've jumped back like 100 billion already, and everybody sort of sees all this green and they're kind of just assuming like the wave is over, the crash, the correction is over. Now everybody can dump their money back in, and I'm just trying to put out a little PSA and just word to the wise that there are still risks involved. And so I see still some downside risk, and this doesn't mean that I'm not long on crypto. Like, don't take this the wrong way. I'm just saying, if you're looking to actively trade it, or if you're getting in right now because you see all this green, yeah, it's a great buying opportunity. And I said that in the last video that I made. But you also have to remember, if this flash crash happens again tomorrow, are you going to be okay with holding your position where you're at? Or are you going to be okay with selling at a 20 or 30 or 40% discount tomorrow and taking that hit? So that's what I wanted to make this video for. So what we'll do is we'll go to TradingView. And so this is not an exact science, and I'm by no means a professional on this. This is just TradingView, if you're not familiar. And I made a fib retracement. I made some trend lines, and these aren't true trend lines. You need 3 points of contact, so it's not confirmed yet. We'll find out. Like, this one is probably a true trend line here. But like I said, it's not an exact science. This is just sort of a very basic video that I wanted to go over and kind of give you guys an idea of what happened in the past with Bitcoin. And this is the Bitcoin to USD chart. So I wanted to explain to you guys what I'm seeing. And basically, this was, what was this? Yesterday, I guess. And no, not yesterday. What am I talking about? This is the all-time high at 19,000. And so this is where we're sitting right here. And we're sitting at about 11,900. And so I drew this little trend channel here. And the trend lines aren't perfectly accurate because I've been changing between the candlesticks time frames. So we'll just use this for now. So there's a couple things that I see. There's this trend channel that's going pretty vertical right now. And since we bottomed out yesterday at about 9,400 bucks. So what I see, possible scenarios are, one, this trend channel sort of continues and we break through this trend line, and there will probably be some resistance here around 13,500. And if it breaks through that, I can see it kind of going up and bouncing around in this trend line, which is still a downward trend line. But at this point, if it breaks above these highs here at 14,000 and 14,500, then 14,900, then we've sort of shifted from a bear trend into a bull trend due to making a higher high. And that's not a perfect science either. This is something definitely to be watched. But right now, even in this situation, like, this looks kind of like a bearish or a bullish trend. But if you look at the overall trend line for the past, I don't know, month or so, not even the past month, since the 6th of January, you're seeing a bearish trend. You're seeing lower lows and lower highs. And, that is definitely, like, right here, maybe we kind of got faked out a little bit, where we had a low of 13,000-ish, and then it kind of bounced up to 13,200, and the buyers showed up, and then all of a sudden, massive bear trend here. And you can see the low is at 12,900, and then the next low was at 11,400. So it's a lower low. And then these high points are getting much lower as well, and that's a bearish signal. So yeah, I mean, this is a possibility. If it breaks through these trend channels, if it breaks through here at 13,600, I could see it kind of bouncing around in here. And once it reaches this resistance line, wherever it does reach on this line, If it reaches up here and stays in this channel, then I think we're blasting off to the moon. So my recommendation is kind of keep an eye on where this is trading in between this trend channel, and that can kind of give you a hint on where it's going to go. So if you're very new to just kind of this all together and you're kind of just like buying into Bitcoin because it looked like a good price at the time, just be careful, because you really don't know if this bearish trend is over just yet, and maybe you can get a better price. Now, I'm not saying you can. I'm not telling you what to do. I gotta say it because everyone's freaking out about it, but I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but this is my thought process. So if it breaks through here, through these trend lines, it's probably going to the moon. It's probably going to test these all-time highs. I mean, it'll probably get up here to 17,000 again. If it breaks through this, then I mean, this is probably a resistance line here at this recent high, and then we can see it going up here and testing all-time highs again. And if it does that, then it tests through this super strength, this super bull trend here, then and it's still testing up in this range, then like, yeah, we're going to the moon for maybe a short period of time, or maybe it's just blast off time. My next thing I wanted to go over is the possibility of a downtrend. And this is where I see the most possibility at this point in time. It is getting less possible as we see this kind of hover in this trend region. But I wanted to show you guys this picture. If you're not familiar with a dead cat bounce, basically you're on this hockey stick of a run up, and then you get a recent crash, and then the buyers show up again, and then you're at a recent all-time high. It's not the all-time high, but it's a recent high, right? And then all of a sudden it drops again into the dead cat zone, and it's not where you want to be, especially if you're investing in this region up here. And that, in my opinion, is sort of where we're headed, is this dead cat region. And when this happens, I also think, or not when, but if this happens, I also think that not only Bitcoin will tumble if this happens in this region up here, but so will all the altcoins. And, you know, it's very difficult to tell where this dead cat bounce would be. And what my opinion was at first was it looks quite similar to what just happened. And if we look, we just went from 19,600 to down all the way to like somewhere in this range, 12,000. Then we went back up to 17,000, and that was a big drop. And then we bounced back up here. We had more buyers at 17,000. And then you've seen it just fall off a cliff. Now, crypto is a little bit different than conventional stock market investing, and you're seeing crazier gains and swings. So I feel that there's still a downside risk to investing at these prices. Now, I'm long on Bitcoin, so I can buy at this price and not care, because it's money that I'm willing to put in and just leave there for a long time over the course of 2018, 2019, not touch it, not worry about the press, not worry about all that stuff. As long as I'm still following it and there's no major bad news, and, you know, quantum computers come out and they hack the Bitcoin network and everyone gets their money stolen, well, in that case, that's a bad thing. And then you figure out what you reevaluate your situation at that time. But it's possible that we're in this dead cat bounces zone. Even at this level, if we test past these levels here within this trend, I think it's possible that we're sort of getting out of this dead cat bounce area, but not until we blow past this 17,000 mark is when I'm going to be a little more confident that we're out of this bearish trend. So that was what I wanted to go over today. This is the fib retracement, so you can kind of see basically what this does in very basic terms is each of these lines, these levels, is a zone, sort of like a trend line area where you can kind of not expect, but you can get an idea of where you think that the trend that is currently on, so right now it's in a downward trend, it might reverse at some of these levels. So this one was a little bit off, but pretty darn close. Some of these candlesticks reached down below it, and it did kind of reverse. And then it kind of tested it again, and it kind of reversed. And then it came down, and then it hit this trend zone, this trend line, and it blew past it. And then guess where it hit again? At this fib level here, and it's blown. Basically, it's just tested it and blown back up. Now, the reason that scares me is we've seen a couple times that it's tested the level above, and then it kind of blows past a few levels, and then it blows down a few levels. So this is something to be careful of, because just because we tested it once doesn't mean that it's over, right? It could test down here. And what I wanted to go over is I made these lines here, these support lines. If it does end up going into another bearish trend in this channel between this line and this line, I could see it coming all the way down to 8,400 range, and kind of settling in here in this zone, if I can move this over a little bit, and kind of testing in here, and then it would have a resistance line up at 11,000 again. So that's the risks that I see investing at this price. Now, investing at the 9,500 price that we tested yesterday was probably a good move, especially if you're long. That's a great price. You're going to get that for, you hold on to it for a few years, and that's great. That's what I want to go over. The last thing I'll go over is, let's change this to a 1 day, and we're going to go back in time. And we're going to see, come on, what's going on here? Okay, so if you look at this, it looks like nothing compared to what happened here. This is the 1 day candlestick chart here. And this looks so insignificant compared to what happened, but it is eerily similar. And let me see. So these trend lines kind of didn't, they worked okay. They kind of get messed up when you switch around. But basically, we were in, let me try and switch this to the 1 minute and see how things go. What price is this? I don't think this is going to work. Oh, not 1 minute. I meant to do 1 hour. All right, that's not going to work. I apologize for wasting your time on that. Let's see. Okay, so this is in 2014 when we experienced the first real bear market of Bitcoin. So you have this hockey stick, and if you look at it, it looks eerily similar to what we were looking at just a minute ago. You're sitting at this crazy run up. And I look at the percentages. I don't like to look at the dollar value. I like to look at the percentages, because the dollar value is pretty much irrelevant. It's percentages that you're looking at. So, and that was a terrible explanation. But anyway, so here was sort of the same situation that we're in right now. And this is why I'm sort of warning you to be a little bit cautious and do more research on this. Build your own graphs, build your own trend lines, because we could be sitting in just the start of this dead cat bounce. So we had the high of $1,100, and I'm just using prices so it's easier for you guys to see. But it went into this bearish trend, and you can see this. Obviously this was a confirmed trend line. This one's sort of not so much, but I looked at this as a bearish trend. It tested this fib level here, bounced back up, hit this trend line, bounced down, tested it again, bounced down, kind of blew past it. All of a sudden went through 2 more fib levels, tested up here at this $600 level, and And then we just saw this was the dead cat bounce. We're up here in this top, and as you can see, it happened before. It happened up here. So there was two sort of dead cat bounces in this one downward trend, and maybe even three if you count this one. So it just continues to go down all the way to $160, and then we sat in this bearish trend, just a grind for a long time. And it didn't reach the highs for another until 2017. So this high, let's see. I know I could do this in a better way, but this was in 2013, and it took until 2017 to get to that high again, which was right here, or 2016, I should say. So nope, 2017. So yeah, I was correct. So that looks eerily similar to this, just on a different level, because this is just such a higher price. We had one dead cat bounce, we had another one that was a little bit higher, and then it's bouncing down. So I just recommend keeping an eye on this, seeing if this stays in this trend channel here, and if it does, then maybe we're gonna blast off. If it doesn't, expect something like this. I mean, I just expect the worst and hope for the best, right? That way you're prepared and you're not getting in without the proper information. This is just information. This video is for entertainment and just kind of giving you my thoughts. Don't take this as financial advice, but do your research. It's the only reason I'm making this video, is to get people, and I'm long on Bitcoin, okay? Don't think I'm not long on Bitcoin. So it's not like I'm trying to spread FUD about the crypto market and it's going to go into a bear market. Think of the positives. If Bitcoin goes down into this, let's see, this one I marked at 8,000, then there's another support level at 5,000. If it goes down to 5,000, you know how much money I'm going to dump into this? Like, that's ridiculous. So, and the people who were sitting over here in 2013 who were thinking like I am right now, and said, you know what, I'm dumping in at 160, or I'm dumping in at 218. And then guess what? A few years later, they're sitting at 20 grand a coin, and they bought it for 200. So that's something to think about. Think about the positives, right? If you're invested in Bitcoin right now and you're getting a little worried about this, do whatever you think is right. You know, sell it, hold on to some fiat for a little while, maybe see where it goes. If it breaks through these trend lines, then you can dump in, and yeah, you're getting at a higher cost, but you actually have a little more security in that situation, in my opinion. So, you know, with that, let me know, comment below your thoughts. Give me a subscribe. I'd love to see you guys subscribe. We're almost at 100, which is pretty cool. I just started this channel, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next video, and let me know what you guys want next. Catch you later.